Hello everyone, how you doing? Super. So today, as you can see, I'm really excited. Now I say that all the time, I'm excited, but today's excitement is on another level because oh, I can't really put it in words. Do you know, like when people in media or journalism say things like, "Oh, did I sit down and interview?" Blah 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 blah. It'll be the highlight of my career. Yeah, that's the kind of excitement I have. I have today, having this wonderful, amazing woman of God here with us today. So, without further ado, we just go into it. If you're new to my channel, you're very welcome. My name is Akbawe, and I'm really excited you're here. Where have you been? You don't have to make today your last. There will always be something here that will bless you. Right, Pastor Sally, we're going to do this. First of all, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I'm really honored that you are, like, it was just a humility for me, like, Pastor Sally, can you please do this for me? Like, oh, all right, that's my best, my best impression of you. Oh, just check my calendar, and that was it. Like, so it means so much to me. Now we just start and just briefly, just tell the people who are you, just briefly.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's a real pleasure to be here with you, to be here with all of you. I'm excited too. It was a privilege to be asked and invited to come and talk together with you today. So my name's Sally. I've lived in Newcastle for over 20 years now.
Ooh, a long time.
Yeah, I used to live down south in Oxford, but now we live in Newcastle. We pastor a church here, which we are all part of the same church family.
Yeah.
I'm married to Clive, and next month we will have been married for 40 years.
Wow.
Just putting that out there. Ruby wedding coming up. We've got 3 adult children.
Oh, yes.
We have 8 grandchildren with 1 more on the way. So next month we're going to have 9. And what else can I tell you? I trained as a nurse. I worked for many years as a nurse. I worked as a pediatric nurse here in Newcastle. And now I have the privilege of working with God's people in a pastoral capacity.
Oh, thanks. And just to add, you're my role model. Like, as a mom with 3 young children, and you've had adult children, just seeing you, how you've raised your kids, all doing well in their careers, and above all, really doing well spiritually. It's just like a great example, like it's possible to do it. So thank you so much for being a great role model, Pastor Sally. Comport yourself, Akbawe. It looks like I'm sitting down with, like, I can't believe I'm with Pastor Sally, but I'll try my best to comport myself.
I'm super normal. Really, I'm really normal. She's the amazing one.
All right, I'll try my best. So, Pastor Sally, what I have you here today is, I've been doing this thing, like, we had a series on the power of our words. So when I first gave my life to Christ, it's one of the things that God really worked on me, my mouth, because it was very, very brutal, this mouth of mine, but I've been on a journey, and I'm not where I used to be, and I'm just really intentionally helping people to know that we can all speak well, nice words, because that's what God expects from us. So we've had Alice in here, and she talked about being intentional with our words, and if we must speak, let them be words that encourage people. And they've also had the lovely Jen here, who her words always encourage and lift people up. Now, with these 2 women, it was more about what we speak to other people. So the words we say to people, how they impact people. So I was very deliberate in having you here to end this whole series, because you're one of the senior pastors in our church. And as a church, we have a word for the year. And we've also been encouraged as people to have a word for our lives. Yeah. So it's just really today it's good to speak words into people's life. But why do we have to speak words into our own life? Why? Because someone could just like, oh, these church folks, they just make up these things. What do you mean word for your life? Oh, okay, my word for my life is rich. I need some pounds and dollars on my doorstep. Also, like, really, yeah. So why is it important really to speak positive words into our own life, or declare words into our situation? Why should we do that?
Well, first of all, I think words are really powerful. The book of Proverbs says life and death are in the power of the tongue. And it's not just what we say to other people, it's what we say to ourselves really affects our lives. And I think that we were made in the image of God, and He created the whole world with a word. He spoke a word, and night turned into night and day turned into day, and everything came into being. So exactly. In the same way, I think our words have got a creative power more than we realise. In the book of James, you can read there that James, the apostle, tells us that our words, they like control our lives. He says they can sort of set something on fire or steer it in a certain direction. He likens our words and our tongues to the rudder of a ship.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if you've ever seen these great big oil tankers. You might remember that one that ran aground in the Suez Canal earlier this year. But if you saw the rudder in the picture when it was sort of up on the bank there, the rudder of a ship is quite tiny compared to the size of the ship, just as our tongue is quite tiny. But that rudder of a ship steers that ship. It determines where it's going, and it doesn't just determine where it's going. You need the rudder to keep you on a straight course as well. So when you've set your course, the rudder keeps you on it. In the same way with our tongues steer us and they keep us on track. And so we think it's important as a church to ask God every year, what should our focus be this year? What should we really be looking at, so that everything we do lines up with that word, and we don't just sort of go here, there and everywhere in a sort of scattered approach. It helps us to focus, and I think that's true whether it's us as a church or us as individuals as well.
Pastor Sally, thank you so much for all you said so far, but the one that really stuck with me is the words tear our life, yeah? So basically it's like we're on a journey, and the words you say from your mouth to yourself, or the words you confess to yourself, can either lead you like to a certain destination, or you just be all over the place. Because like you said, that's like a rudder. It steers the ship into the right course. So it's very, very important that you have to have a word for your life to lead you. Is that it?
I think it's a helpful thing. I think it's helpful because we can think about what we're doing. It should be a word that affects all areas of your life, really. So you can think, well, how am I going to spend my money this year? Does that lead me in the direction of this word that I've got this year? Or whatever. How do I spend my time? How's everything in my life going to line up and help me to go in the direction that I feel I should go this year?
Right. That's really wonderful, Pastor Sally. So now somebody might be watching you, like you've said these very brilliant words and you must be taking notes, but I don't know how to go about it. So I just go random words. I have 10 words on my list and I just choose one, or or how do I go about like getting a word for my life for the year? Yeah, exactly. Like just close my eyes and I just pick up something. Is that it? Is that how you get a word, or what you do?
Well, I think there's a better way of going about it. You could do that, but I think there's a better way of going about it. I first heard of this concept, way of having a word over your life individually for a year from a guy whose book I read, a guy called John Gordon. He writes a lot of leadership things, and we've been doing this as a church for some time before this, but then to do it for my own life as a more recent thing, I think. And what he suggests is that you take time to really reflect, think about this, probably at the start of the year, because that's always a good time. But do you know what? You can start right now if you've never done this before.
Not too late, yeah.
And he says, look in, look up, look out. And what he means by that is start by looking in, reflecting, thinking, what do I need more of in my life? What would I like to see more of in my life, or less of in my life? And just start to write down some words that get you in that sort of general ballpark of what you think you'd like to see more of in your life. Then you look up, that's looking to God and saying, God, help me. I want to honour you with my life this year. I want to follow you better. I want to be more like Jesus as I live my life this year. So what's on your heart for me this year? Help me to really sort of narrow this down a little bit. And when you've done that, then you look out and you think, how is this word going to work its way out through my life? What kind of impact is it going to have on how I live this year, how I relate to my family, how I connect with other people, what choices and decisions I make? So it's look in, look up, look out to get this feel of what your word could be for the year. What was your word? Can I ask?
Yes, you can, Pastor Sally. So my word.
She's supposed to be asking the question.
I can't resist. Pastor Sally. Yeah. So my word for the year was impact.
Wow.
Now, so it was because initially when first the whole concept of having a word for the year for myself for the year, not like I struggled, but when I prayed to God, it was because at the very first day of the year when I prayed to God, like, I just want to make an impact for you this year, help me. I was looking for so many grand things to say, but you know, like in the line, that's what just comes that I want to make an impact for you. So speaking with my cell leader, I talked about it, and gradually God started making it very clear to me. It was more about like him making an impact in my life, and that I'm making an impact in people's life, like a knock-on effect. So that's the word. And then I got a verse from like John 15:4. It's I'm the vine, abide in me, and then I abide in you. So it's like, first of all, me being in God, and then God impacts me, and then I can in that way do that. And it's really working. First of all, like when I spoke to Alice, and they're like, it was more or less starting from my home with my children, really making impact, trying to really bring them up in the ways of the Lord. And then it's coming out like now me doing these videos on YouTube and just doing everything I do, like just I want to make an impact for you, Lord.
Right,
so
that's fantastic.
So it's really true what you've said. It just tells it, because when I think about it, how do I make an impact? So everything that sticks in my head is impact. Am I making an impact? Am I making an impact? So it's really true what you say. It makes you focus. So you're not distracted.
Right.
You're not distracted because you have this word, and then you just narrow everything in there. Like,
and you can kind of measure up how you're spending your time, can't you? Is that taking me toward this or away from it? So it really helps you to make those decisions. You know, maybe you would have been tempted to have sat down this evening at home and watched
exactly.
Here you are with me.
Yeah, I need to make an impact.
You want to make an impact.
I need to come to Pastor Sally's house. Exactly. And I could be doing something else, honestly, but I chose to come here because that's my focus for the year. Like,
that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, Pastor Sally, just share my word. What's your word?
Oh, I knew she was going to ask me that. Well, I'll tell you what my word was for this year. My word for 2021 was healthy.
Oh, healthy.
Healthy. And I wanted it to be about all of my life. So I wanted it to be about being spiritually healthy. Emotionally healthy, physically healthy, in every way. And I had a Bible verse too, because if you can get a Bible verse that really helps you to kind of remember your word, that's another thing. Write it out, stick it up somewhere, look at it regularly. If you can pick a word for the year, and if you do nothing more with it, it isn't going to help you. And then you say it didn't work. Oh, who was that woman talking to us? It's powerful if you get a hold of it the right way, and you put it somewhere, you read it, you think about it, and you think, oh yes, is this going to take me toward it? So my verse was from 3 John, which is a little short letter at the back of the New Testament, where John writes to Gaius, and he says, "Dear friend, I hope all is well with you, and that you are as healthy in body as you are strong in spirit." And it was that sense of health being more than just a physical thing. I want to be healthy in every way. So that was my word for the year.
And how's that playing out so far?
Well, do you know, the very first week after I felt that was my word for the year, we were walking up in the Simonside Hills, and I slipped on some ice, and I really hurt my foot. I felt like I was having to fight for this healthiness because I then couldn't, well, we were in lockdown straight away after that, and so I couldn't go to the gym or anything like that. But it's worked out in my life this year that I've really focused on putting my devotional time with God in its right place, making sure I'm investing in reading, not just my Bible, but other Christian books. I'm investing in relationships with people. And when we got out of lockdown, I started going back to the gym twice a week. So I get up at 5 o'clock 2 mornings a week and go to the gym, because that's important to me. Yeah, I'm sure I could be doing loads better, but it's definitely kept me on track in a way that I don't think I would have during this difficult year, really, with all the changes in regulations and so on. I think it's been good to have a focus.
Very good. So there you have it. Everything we've said today just sums up in that Bible verse that says life and death are in the power of the tongue.
It's absolutely true, and I think we underestimate how powerful our words are. I said earlier on, we're made in God's image, and He created the whole world with a word, and so our words have not the power to create the world, but in the same spirit, our words are powerful. I met a lady once who asked me to pray for her, and it was such a story. She had been going through some challenges in her life, in her family, and she was going into hospital for a very minor operation, and she was feeling so low about her situation that as she was going to the operating theatre on the trolley, wheeling down the hospital corridor, she said to herself, I don't really want to wake up from this operation.
Oh no.
It was a minor procedure, and during the operation, the surgeon cut an artery by mistake,
Oh, no.
and she began to hemorrhage. They couldn't see what was happening.
Wow.
She had a cardiac arrest
Oh,
on
wow.
the operating table. She ended up in surgery for like 8 hours instead of half an hour. She then was in the intensive care unit. She had an infection. She arrested again. It just was such a sad story, but it impacted me amazingly because she was asking me to pray for her because of that word that she had spoken over her life. I don't want to go on. I don't want to wake up again. And it's almost as if she opened the door for a chain of events to happen in her life. So speak good words over yourself. You're worth it. You're worth it to the Lord. You're worth it to your family. Don't say those things that will bring trouble upon you, because our words are powerful. I don't want to end on a negative either. I think our words are powerful things to, you've chosen that word impact. I've said healthy. Whatever you pick, make it something positive that will really pull you forward in the direction that God has got for you.
You're worth it. That's what I think. That's it. You're worth it. Pastor Sally has said it all. You're worth it. So say things that are meaningful to yourself, because you know why? You're worth it. Wow, Pastor Sally, thank you so much. That has really blessed me, and I'm sure everyone watching as well has been blessed. And if you take anything from today, it will be what Pastor Sally said last. You're worth it. I mean, Jesus died on the cross for you. You are worth it. So say words that are meaningful to yourself. Stop being negative. Don't say things that... Just think about it. What do you think Jesus is saying over you right now? Think about it. You're worth it. So that's the end of this series, the power of our words. We've learned so much that words are powerful. So just go and use your words well. Pastor Sally, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do you know what? I will cherish this day for the rest of my life.
Me too.
Alright. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. So you're going to meet people like Pastor Sally here all the time and many more. But seriously, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe, hit on the notification bell. There'll always be something here that will bless you every Wednesday. And I'll see you in the next video. And if this video has blessed you as well, just give it a thumbs up, share to someone else that you think is going to bless as well. That's the whole purpose of doing this, so we can impact people and be a blessing to people, right? I'll see you in the next video. Bye.